When my son Josiah was a baby, we had a special yellow blanket that we put on his bed. We didn't know it was special at the time, but he chose that one as his special blanket. And he started carrying it around with him everywhere. In fact, he carried it around so much that it started getting so many holes in it. In fact, it got so many holes that it started to become dangerous. And we called it his Whoopee, after the movie Mr. Mom. In fact, if you look on my blog today, I have a clip from the movie Mr. Mom, and where they call the little boy's blanket his Whoopee. So this is Josiah's Whoopee. Being a mom, I couldn't get rid of it. I had to save it. I tucked it away in my sock drawer. So this is Josiah's Whoopee. When he was 2, we had to replace it because it was getting dangerous. So we replaced it with another yellow blanket, another Whoopee. And he actually did a pretty good job with the replacement when I put them together. But there was a day about 3 or 4 months later when he got sick and he said, "Mom, could I please have my old Whoopee back? This new one just doesn't work nearly as well as the old one." That was his security blanket. Today we're talking about security, and one of the blessings of abiding in God's Word is security. Now, we as adults know that a security blanket is just an object. There's really nothing special about that object itself that gives us security. But what do we cling to for security? Is it money? Is it some type of an object? Is it our smartphone? I know that my GPS on my smartphone I cling to for security. When I'm going somewhere and that little circle is going and it's locating something and I can't find it, I start to get really nervous because I really don't know where I'm going without it. If I'm honest, as a mom, something that I cling to for security is my relationships. I'm so fearful of something happening to my kids. And there's nothing wrong with loving my children and my husband and loving my family, but I can't put that above my relationship with God. One time I was going out with a friend, and we were, all of our kids were toddlers, and we were getting ready to go somewhere like to the zoo or something like that, and we were piling up in the car, and we were going to kind of divide the kids up, and she said to me, she said, "Oh no, I always go together with all of my kids in the car, and I go with them, because if anything would happen, and there would be an accident, I would want all of my kids to die together, and I would want to die with them, because I could never live without any of my children, and I wouldn't want to live either." I thought that was really extreme when she said that, but I had to admit a part of me could kind of understand that too. There was a time a couple of years ago when one of our teenagers was really struggling, really having a hard time. And I remember during that time I went out for a run early in the morning, and as my feet were hitting the pavement, I was praying, and I remember praying, just, "Please, God, don't let anything happen to this child, because I don't know what I would do." And I remember just even being guilty as I was praying that, thinking there are so many people who have had to live without a child, and I don't think I could do it. And I knew what I was supposed to pray was, "Let your will be done." And I couldn't pray it. Yet I felt like God understood my prayer and knew that at that moment that was the most that I could pray. What do you cling to for security? Do you trust God with all your heart? We know that God gives us security as a gift. It's not up to us. And that is what we learn in John chapter 15 and other verses in the Bible. This is what Romans 8 chapter 6 tells us. It says, "The mind of sinful man is death, but the mind controlled by the Spirit is life and peace." The mind controlled by the Spirit is life and peace. And that's what I pray for you today, that your mind might be filled with life and peace.